There he is. Well, we got time. Ooh, he ain't hooked good at all, either. Oh, but he's in the net. Baby. Never give up. I wanted to give up on that top water for the last 40 minutes. 3 spots on that side. But that's a good eating size fish there. He's probably about 19 to 20 inches. They gotta be 18 to keep. Getting the smoker fired up, got it set to 400. Yes, sir. All right. This is the final product, and it is absolutely gorgeous and delicious. I'm telling you. I ain't had one strike on this lure. There he is. Got him that time. Coming straight at me. Oh shit, don't get me. There he is, baby. Oh shit. Spoke too soon. I ain't got my net out or nothing. And there he is, baby. Hell yeah. There he is. He ate it that time. Dragging me out to the middle. I guess this will be a good time to get your net ready. Nice. Nice. I'm gonna get away from this bank because I got a feeling that's where they at. Judging by that topwater popping action. All right, let's see if you can do this, RJ. You've done it before, mate. Let's keep it. Oh, he ain't hooked good at all either. Oh, but he's in the net. Baby. That's what I'm talking about. A little top water popping action. Never give up. I wanted to give up on that top water for the last 40 minutes. No wonder he was fighting so hard. He was hooked under his chin. And of course I got it in my net. That's why this net's got a hole in it. Alright, the fish is unhooked. Don't you do that. Get back out here in the middle. I'll get that lure out the net in a minute. The wind's blowing me into that bank. Yes! God, I needed that. He's still a little feisty. Let's get that pretty drum out. Nice. He's so pale. Look at how pale he is. He's like the exact color of this water. We've got 3 spots on that side and 2 on this side. Ain't no giant, but nice size red for this this time of year. Show off that pretty size. He's definitely legal. I should have brought my stringer in case I upgraded, but that's a good eating size fish there. He's probably about 19 to 20 inches. They gotta be 18 to keep. Beautiful red. Old Topsail Beach special. Let's see. $19 on the dot. Well, I got my eater. Beautiful red, multi-spotter, top water, super spook, black and chartreuse. He devoured it. I think I'm gonna do the smart thing and put him in the box. Because this is that time of year where it might be the first and last fish I catch. I don't know, you just never know. Now, let's get this hook out of this net and then get back on that bank, baby. Yo, that's what I'm talking about. Pender County style.
All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of how-to or how I clean a redfish. Caught this nice little red yesterday. Disregard a little bit of a mess on the counter. I had to kind of clutter everything back so I can do this real quick. Got my knives sharp. This is a Marlin knife sharpener, and I recommend use a knife that's got a tip. I broke the tip off of this cleaning a deer last year. Alright, and this is a Marlin knife. This is my big knife. I use this for cleaning big pieces of meat, cutting big pieces of meat, and cleaning big fish from offshore. When you need to cut a big old slab of meat off of a cobia, African pompano, big king mackerel, wahoo, stuff like that, it comes in handy. I use the little knife, and what is this? Oh yeah, this is the wild bone knife. This comes in a kit, a little pack you can get. It comes in with a deer skin knife, this little sharp knife, and a couple others. So this is one that I got left over. The deer skin one must be in the sink, but anyways, I'm gonna start with this one, outlining it and removing the fillet, and then I like to use a bigger, broader blade knife to take the skin off of the fillet. This, gets you away from scaling. I used to scale all my fish. I used to scale everything. It's time consuming, it's strenuous, it takes a lot of work. It's super quick and easy just to cut this up, take the meat off, take that big old beautiful fillet off of it, and then flip it over and fillet the skin off the meat. So typically how I start is by outlining, and every fish has a little entry point into his scales on his edges. All fish, even like really armored fish like triggerfish. If you feel around right here, you can feel skin behind those scales, and that's where your entry point is. You get in there and then you can just press against the bones and work your fillet all the way down, cut in behind the head, and then take it on down to the tail. Hopefully y'all can see this. Alright, so take the tip of that knife. You see how it just literally went right in? That's because there's no scales right there against that fin. And you just basically run down that all the way down the fin. Once you get up there to the top of his head, it's a little bit tougher, and then I run it all the way until I hit the skull, and that's how you know you haven't missed any meat. You're going all the way to the front of him. Once I hit the skull, I come back through and just run it a little bit deeper. The reason I'm going up like that is because I keep getting caught on this dorsal fin, but you just want to keep that behind the knife. And then I run it all the way deep into the rib cage and all the way to the skull. I don't make this cut yet, and I don't make this cut with this knife. I actually do use the big knife to make that cut because it's just a lot better. Alright, once I've got that cut, then I turn the knife around and I reinsert it right where I started, and then I go down towards the tail. Boom. With a sharper, pointier knife, once I got to this point, I would push it all the way through and then, but with this one not having a point, it's kind of hard, so I got to work it in there. There we go. Now it's through. Boom. Now you're through the tail. Now I'm just going to start working against those bones all the way up. You can either crush through the ribs and cut it, leave the ribs in the fillet. That's what I like to do because you get the most meat like that, and I don't mind bones. I know a lot of people freak out about bones, and they can't have any bones in their fish at all because it freaks them out or whatever, but I'm not that way, and I don't care about bones. I care about harvesting as much meat off this fish as possible and not wasting any. It's delicious. His life was worth it. If you're going to kill an animal and take its life, the least you can do is not waste anything off this animal. So once I get to this point, I put my thumb in that fillet. I'm trying to lean him up so I can show y'all, and then I can get in here, and you kind of gotta, you work it like this and then you work it like that down the other side because the spine is kind of sticks out, and if you just go straight across it, you leave a bunch of meat on there. When I get done with this fish, I don't want there to be any meat on him whatsoever. I might, let's see. Okay, I was able to get the ribs with this knife. Usually I use the bigger knife because it's stronger and it just pops right through the ribs. Now, once I got him opened up, I get on the other side of the spine, pushing down, not too hard because you don't want to go through him, but just want to get all that meat. Don't want to leave no meat behind. All right, got through them ribs good. Now I'm working down that other side all the way to the bottom. Now once you get up here, you can see the gut cavity in there. You do not want to hit that cavity. You don't want to spill his guts on the meat. So be real careful working around that, skinning it off the flesh. And then once you get up here, you want to switch over, well at least I do, I switch over to my big knife to cut through this because it's tough. Right behind his gill plate, right behind this side fin, all the way down to that lower fin. Get in between some scales, push it straight through till you hit the spine. If you do it right, this should, yep, just like that. This corner will peel right up and you'll see where I cut through the ribs, and then just keep peeling with your thumb and lay that fillet right over like that. Once you've laid that fillet over, you can see this gut cavity a little better, and you just want to real gently outline it until it rolls back. It'll start pulling back towards its gut cavity. Then it's off, it's done. Now all you got to do is cut along the stomach right there, that belly meat. And then you have the entire fillet off that fish. A lot of people come in here and cut the ribs off, but look how thick that meat is right there. See how thick that is? When you cut this whole portion out, then you're only left with, you know, half of this fillet, basically, because there isn't a lot of meat down there towards the tail. But when you look at it like that, the two thickest parts of this meat are right above the ribs and right below it. That's a lot of meat laying there. And these ribs are really big. It's not like there's tons of hair bones in here. There's about 20, maybe 15 ribs right there. And once it's cooked, you can literally grab each one and pull it out. And then you have a boneless fillet. And you haven't wasted any meat. Now, however, right here at the bottom of this fillet, you can see there's part of the gas, what do you call it? The air bladder, swim bladder. You can peel that out with your fingers. If it's tough, you can kind of trim it out with your knife, but you do want to get that off. There you go, it peeled right out. And then the rest of that will rinse out. All right. Get that last little piece, got it. Clean my knife. I like to clean my knife often because each time you touch the guts or something and then put it right back in the meat, you're contaminating your meat. All right, now is when I'll switch to the big knife. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take my big knife and I'm going to take the meat off the skin. And what I usually do, you can do this with a fillet knife, you can do it with a lot of different knives, but I like to use the heavy knife because it's sturdy, it's got some backbone, and it's wide. That wide blade seems to help me kind of seesaw through this, because once you get up here to where the rib meat and stuff is attached to the skin, it's a lot tougher. So a lot of people will come up the tail just a little bit and start, so they got a little handle to hold on to. You can do that, you don't have to, but just start seesawing down at an angle till you hit the bottom, and then boom. Move any scales and stuff out your way because they want to snag on that meat. Once I get on that skin, you just want to press flat down and start seesawing. See how I'm right there? Now, red drum, scales, and skin are really tough, so you can put a lot more pressure than you think. It might take you a few fish to get the hang of it, but you just want to keep this flat, and what that's going to do is it's going to keep the edges flat on the cutting board. And that's another reason I like to use this wide knife. It really keeps that skin, the edges of that skin pressed down flat, and helps me get through it without losing any meat or without leaving any skin on the meat. And typically I go like this. I push forward and then I rock my blade back and pull, push, pull, and I'm holding on to the back of this skin all the while. Once you get to the front, like I said, it's a little tougher, but just keep pushing. Keep that seesaw in motion, and then it'll slide right through. And then what you're left with is a beautiful skinless fillet. I don't worry about that bloodline. A lot of people, they cut all the stuff off the meat, and then all you're left with is two little old pieces of meat, and you've thrown the whole fish away. That bloodline, when you cook it and eat that bloodline, Here's a little secret. It is full of flavor and nutrients. It tastes so good. I actually enjoy the dark pieces on this fish. That bloodline, it's really, I don't even think it's a bloodline, because if you look in there, there's no vein or nothing. It's just darker colored meat. It lays right on the spine. It's the lateral line. That's where everything's, it's just part of the fish. That is a gorgeous piece of meat. The darker areas I've noticed when I eat them, very flavorful. The drum already has a beautiful flavor. It's a great eating fish. And I find, and I know people are going to hate on me for this, but I find people that cut they say, well, I don't like fishy flavor. Well, then you don't like fish. You know what I'm saying? You eat fish because you like the flavor of fish. If you're cutting away everything that makes it a fish, well, you're not exactly a fish lover. I'm just that way. I love fish. I love the flavor of it. I love the flavor of all the meat, everything that's in it. There's certain fish I don't eat, but it's all good. Everything on this fish is good. And that is a beautiful, beautiful fillet. All right, beautiful. I'm going to put this one in the bowl. And if you look at this skin, it's very stretchy. You can see why drum are so tough. I mean, they're almost armored. I've said before, I wish I could like tan this and make a set of boots out of it or something. You can see how flexible it is. It's like a sheet of armor. Now, sometimes it can be tough getting the other side of this fish because his head is so wide and he doesn't lay flat on the table. But just take your time, work your knife in there, and don't be in a hurry, especially if you're just learning. You don't want to waste any meat. You don't want to mess him up, but it's the same aspect on this side as it is the other side. And I'm right-handed, so I typically like to work with his head pointing away from me, and I work up this side. Although that's not the best camera angle, I don't know that there is going to be a good camera angle for this one. All right. We find that little area where there's no scales. I'll start at the back so my arm isn't in the way. And we work up. And it's literally the same on each side. All right. Find that break in the armor. Gosh, I gotta get a new knife. Come out of the tail there. Keep you some napkins and paper towels or something right there to keep your knife clean and keep the scales out of the way. All right. So using the backbone, I'm gonna keep feeling up this fish all the way up to the head. Right up to the skull. I guess I already got it pretty good there. All right. Now, for me, being right-handed, working on this side of the fish, just like for everybody else, it's always a little tougher. Some people cut the head off the fish and stick the knife in here, fillet it back and forth like you do a flounder, or like you can do a flounder. I find it a little bit easier to do it this way with a long fish like this, these longer shaped fish. And then I just take my time and I'm lifting up, I'm looking in there, and I'm getting right up here to those ribs, that rib section, and I don't want to lose any meat, so I'm taking my time. And I get to those ribs. Now, this is a dangerous part because you're putting a lot of pressure on this fish. You do not want to slip and go up in there and hit your hand. I've done it before. I'll save you the drama. It ain't fun. So take your time. All right, I heard him crunch. I don't think I got through all of them though. There we go. I got a little PTSD from slipping through there and cutting my hand really freaking bad. So I'm taking my time as well. All right, got that. Cutting up to the gut cavity. All right, now we're ready to take the big knife and come in here and make this head cut. Get in between some scales, and you're cutting at an angle right till you hit the spine. Always clean your blades. If I did that right, this should peel right off. Yep, there it went. I felt the pop. And it literally opens like a book there. And then you take care of that gut cavity just like the other side. I'm trying to open this up where y'all can see. This isn't going to be the best quality video, but oh well. I'm doing my best here, folks. Take that gut cavity away from the meat. That swim bladder. Just peel that right around, right down to the bottom of his throat. And try and keep as many scales off the meat as you can as well, because they are tainted. All the things you can keep from the outside and the inside of the fish from being touching the meat, the better, because all that stuff, it just fouls the meat up and contaminates it. And I'm a stickler about not contaminating my meat. Same when I'm cleaning a deer. I don't use one knife to clean the whole deer, just like I don't use one knife to clean the whole fish. Same thing, cut right down that belly meat, all the way down, boom. And you have a beautiful fillet. You've taken your time, you haven't lost any meat. All right, I'm gonna get this head and carcass out of the way. And same thing as before. When you're working in, just work right here slowly at the tail, seesaw it back and forth. And I typically don't recommend you saw at any meat, but this is a case where that doesn't apply. You're putting down pressure like this, like almost like when you're filleting. Same thing, you're filleting. Well, it is filleting, I guess. So you're putting that down pressure. You don't want to tilt your blade like that and cut to the skin after that first cut. You know, you cut into it and then you're honing that thing back out flat as you go. So I went like that and I got in. Now I'm under it. Now I'm at the point where I'm holding it flat. And I see I kind of got a little piece of skin. So I'm going to go ahead and seesaw right there. Anytime the skin curls up like that, seesaw it towards it and it'll flatten it out where you can cut it. Cut that meat right off. Now, once you get enough to grab it, go ahead and grab that, and that's going to be your leverage. Just keep seesawing it back and forth. Boom. Voila, magic. All right, take that one little extra rib off because we ain't going to eat that little rib, but there you go. A beautiful skinless fillet. And not a stitch of it was wasted. That stuff right there, that is not skin. That's just the coloring off of the skin. So it's not tough. It will not affect the flavor. It will not affect the meat. If you've ever eaten sardines, you see that on them. It's not a piece of the skin. All that skin is intact. It's there. Boom. And there you have it, folks. I'm not going to cut these bloodlines out. I eat every little piece of this. I'm not going to cut the ribs out because redfish have big enough ribs. Them things are bigger than toothpicks. When it's cooked, you can literally pick each one out and then it's a boneless fillet. Yet you still have this awesome, huge, thick piece of meat all the way down that side. Pretty much when they debone it, they cut this much of the fish off. And then you're literally only left with about a 1-inch strip to about right there, and then this piece. You're literally throwing this entire piece away. You literally get a little strip and then a back. It's like when I see people skin and clean trout, where they cut the head, cut down the body, and cut down. They threw at least a third of that fish away. And I'm not in the business of wasting, so we're going to keep all that. And that's it, folks. Boom. Another skinless fillet. He was old 2-spotter on one side and a 3-spotter on the other. Beautiful fish, though. Nice little saltwater goldfish. Come on with it. I'm about to seal this up, put it in the fridge to cook later, and then my butt is going right back out there to catch some more of them, hopefully. All right, about to do the old cook on this red drum. Getting the smoker fired up, got it set to 400. Yes, sir. Just top her up with a little bit of fresh pellets. She looking good and smoky, baby. It's old pellet grill, but she does the job. Oh yeah. We're gonna get it popping, baby. Probably gonna cook up some asparagus to go with it. It's gonna be so good. All right, we back in the kitchen. I just gave these a rinse, patted them dry with a paper towel, and not really gonna do much to it. These are two beautiful bone-in fillets. Gorgeous. Just rinsed them, make sure there wasn't any scales on them or anything. This is that red drum. I'm just gonna do a little light coating of cayenne pepper, just because it's really good for you. Just ever so slightly. That's all. Just a dusting of it. And then I got some Kinder's lemon pepper. Just gonna lightly, once again, very lightly do it, because this fish has excellent flavor and it don't need too much seasoning on it as it is. It tastes good the way it is. Flip it over, put the bone side down. I'm just gonna dust it again with that lemon pepper. Literally don't want to kill it with seasoning, because this is a delicious flavor fish. And then just a hint of garlic powder. Just a hint. Again, another little dusting. Don't worry about it getting all over the counter, because I'm gonna clean that up anyways. And then that's it. That is it. Sometimes if you got some lemon or lime or any type of citrus like that, get back, kitten. You got a kitten in the house that will launch right into this and go to devouring it without. I mean, this kitten, he's a wild Bengal tiger. He will launch into that with reckless abandon, and it'll be the end of your catch and cook. But there you go. There's your close-up view of it. Just barely seasoned. Both sides. You can see it's not smothered in it. You don't need it. It's a delicious fish. You gotta just eat the fish. Enjoy it how it is. Everybody does it their own way. That's how I do it. I'm gonna set that to the side and take my little damp cloth and get up all this seasoning. And I got the grill heating already. And it is good to go. It'll be up to temperature right here shortly. And I will go put these on. But first, I'm gonna get the asparagus started. All right, got the asparagus in. Put the old double burner on low. I always came up cooking with gas, so it's taken me a long time to get used to cooking on electric. And we're just gonna shave off a few thin slices of that butter just to get that marinating in there. Y'all don't be hating on me on how much butter I use, because about put a little butter in the tip of my finger in it just then. Alright, that'll get us started. That's going to be some oil, some flavor, all that, all of it. And this little number is brought to you by Chef Boyardee, cooking in the kitchen. Got that on low, really just enough to melt that butter and to really start slow cooking that asparagus. And we like to actually overcook the asparagus a little bit. You know, unfortunately when you do that, it takes all the nutritious values from it, but dang if it ain't delicious. Again, I'm gonna just lightly, and I do mean ever so lightly, that's enough, dust it with the cayenne. Cayenne pepper is so good for you. It does all kinds of things. It seals up bleeds in your body. There's tons of healing properties in that cayenne pepper. All right, that butter's starting to melt. I love cooking it in this big old pan. But yeah, that cayenne pepper, it does all kinds of goody good stuff for you. Uh-oh, cat fight. All right, put up my seasonings. Come on with it. We're just gonna let that start slowly simmering. Nothing too crazy. I think I'm even going to bust out a little clove of garlic here. And the old lady got this banging little garlic dicer, but it dices anything and everything. We put everything in it. It's got this little blade that goes in there. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. That's the little blades for it. And it's got all kinds of little blades that go in here, but you just slide that right in there. I think, oh, there it goes, just like that. And just push it through. It's so simple. So simple. And then it catches it in this little basin under there. You just pop that out, boom. It's easy to clean. It's got a bunch of different little blades that go in there. I think this is the bigger version. Shake and bake, baby. Get that butter underneath, a little bit on top. Smells so good already. Aha, finally found the little square one. And of course it's got a little piece of garlic shell stuck in it. Got that out. Now, pop that one out, let it fall on the floor. Pop this little square one back in there. Bam. But I know it's a pain in the butt to get out of the shell, but if you just bust it, smack it with your hand, it peels out of there so much better. You can use a knife blade to smack it. Crushes it right out of that shell. You peel off all that crap. Nice. Beautiful garlics. And then the cool thing about this is you can just literally set that thing in there, close it, and it just puts it in there perfectly. Right on. This garlic smells so good already. Get out of there, dang it. Making a liar out of me. There it is. Get all that shell off. Pop that whole garlic right in the center of that thing. See if we can catch this in action. Bam, baby. That's better than a slap chop. And then you got your handy dandy little container full of it. It's already minced to perfect size. And then you can take a little bit here. Do some of that Salt Bae with it. Alright. Enough jacking around. Now I'm going to save the rest for when I put that fish on the grill, which will be coming to you live. Now we're at the point on this asparagus where I'm going to start to move it around a little bit. Not much, nothing crazy, just moving it around. Looks like my phone is at that point where the light cut off because it's about to die. Get you back over there. Alright, I got that going. It's on low. It's just going to keep marinating like that. Let's go check on the grill. Alright, we're getting about to that point. The grill is looking fresh. Got it all cleaned up, ready to rock. Heck yes. Asparagus is looking bomb a diggity. Chef Boyardee style, come on. And the last ingredient to all this is a little bit of Celtic sea salt. And we some salt crazed fans over here, so we're going to put plenty of it on there. And yes, my hands are clean. I wash them about every 5 minutes. Even going to put a little sprinkle of that on the fish. I like to put the sea back into the fish, come on. Gives it some good flavor. Not that it don't already got some of the bomb ass flavor you ever had. Little red drum, man, you can't beat it. Alright. We fixing to let this marinate and move this operation out to the grill. A little bit of garlic bits in there. I love garlic, onion, I love it all. There ain't much I don't like. I am not hard to please. And we're just going to keep cooking this down until it's borderline would be overcooked for most people, but we like it that way. We like it a little bit seared, if you will. A little singed. brings out that rich flavor. I've been looking forward to this all day. I skipped lunch. I've only eaten once today, saving up my appetite for this right here. Gosh, I can't wait. I'm trying to wait until this asparagus gets a little bit more done because the fish is going to cook fairly quick. I got the grill set to 400. And the good thing about the grill is we really don't have to flip the fish because it's indirect heat. So it's more like an oven. So it's not like a regular grill where you got to keep flipping it, or you flip it once. I just lay it up there, let it cook all the way through. It gets cooked from all sides. And when it's done, it's done. Occasionally I'll flip it, but not too often. You know, that pellet grill's got that box over the firebox, so the flames don't come up under it. It just kind of like raises from all sides and cooks it from every angle. It's magnificent. Sometimes I'll even put a grill mat down or a ceramic cooking thing, just so it doesn't get too tender and try and fall through the cracks. But all right, be back in a few. All right, don't hate on the outside of the grill too much. It's old and dirty and busted. Get a little light on the subject. Alright. I got these beautiful slabs. I'm just going to lay them right here. Bones down, baby. They're going to shrink up a little bit. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. I wish I had smell-o-vision on this, because that right there, banging to die for. In a few minutes, I'm going to bring some of that garlic, that minced garlic out here. Boy, that bug is hating life. It just adds to the flavor. That old Skeeter Hawk buddy, he went up in there and, put it this way, he ain't with us no more. Alright, back in here now with the asparagus. Man, oh man, it's really starting to look good. Oh yeah. Yep. And it's kind of tough for me to film this because I'm cooking outside and I'm cooking inside, but just keep moving these around in that butter and making sure they're getting an even distribution. And if it doesn't get that slightly burnt desired effect by the time they're done, I'll turn up the heat and just sear them a little bit. Because I've been cooking it on low, but it's on that double burner, so it's pretty hot. And it won't be long now, and we're going to be gnawing on that thing. You heard me. Straight gnawing on it. And right here in a few minutes, I will take some of this minced garlic out there and sprinkle a little bit over that fish. I love some garlic. All right, came back out here real quick. Ooh, that is looking good. You can see it's starting to turn white. It does not take long to cook at all. Pretty much once it's white all the way through, it's done. Zoom back out a little bit. I came back out to check the box, and to sprinkle a little bit of this garlic. Just a little bit, not a lot. Again, I don't want to kill these fish with other flavors because they just taste so damn good. This is one of the better eaten inshore varieties. Make sure the box is kicking. It's burning a little bit on the low side today because I keep letting this box run out. But I got it set to 400. Well, it's getting up there actually. It's getting up there. It's 390, 92. Yeah, it's getting back up there. We're gonna shut that baby back down. Sorry for the poor camera footage. I turned the light off so the bugs wouldn't bust up in there too bad, but yeah, it ain't gonna be long now. It's like that long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Won't be long now. Give y'all another look at this asparagus. It's practically done now. I'm just gonna see, asparagus gets a little bit mushy. Now is when you want to crank up the heat a little bit and just singe those tips, just the ends of them, to get a little bit burnt. See how it's getting a little bit burnt on the edges? That's how we like it. It is so good that way. I mean, I like it anyways. I'll eat it raw. I eat it any way you can give me asparagus. I'll eat it. it's about halfway there, so I don't need to cut the heat up. I just need to let it sit like that for a little while. And I'm just moving it around so it all evenly gets that equal amount of singed, little bit burnt edges. Sometimes you can spread them out real thin like that across where they're all getting a little bit of surface area. Let them sit for a few minutes and then move them around. Come on with it. I wish y'all could smell that. Oh, smells so good. It's fixing to be prime time up in here with this red and some asparagus. You know, the American in me wishes we had one more side to go with it, but it's plenty for us to eat tonight without being gluttonous. That's going to feed us real good. Come on with it. All right. This is that look I'm going for. That slightly burnt on a couple of the edges. The ends get a little bit singed. And it's basically done. So what I'm going to do now is turn the heat off and then just let it chill. And let it just continue to cook just a little bit more. This might look like it's ruined to most people. It might look burned. But this is exactly how we like it. It brings out a whole nother type of flavor that you ain't never had with asparagus. Some people like it just lightly sauteed. We do that sometimes. Sometimes we eat it raw. But when we do it like this with the fish, I really like to cook it good, and it gets that little burnt edge to it. It's just, oh my gosh. I want to just reach in there and pull one out and eat it right now. But I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm going to wait on everybody else. So we'll all eat at the same time. Come on. And the fish, I'm assuming, is about done. I'm about to run back out there and check it one more again. And we're going to put this bad boy on plates, and we're going to go to gnawing on it. I know that probably looks horrible to everybody, but that is a masterpiece right there. Oh yeah. That is getting so close to being done, it ain't even funny. It's turned almost all white. It is so close. Oh, we're just gonna give this a few more minutes. You see how it looks a little bit wet on top still? So how I know when this is to perfection is when I come out and this little bit of moisture it's got on top looks slightly dry. You don't want to overcook it till it dries out, but when you cook it to where that top layer of moisture just slightly dries up, you get that nice, thick, firm, beautiful, flaky meat, and that's what I'm going for. I'm going for that nice, firm, flaky goodness. I'd say 10 more minutes and it's going to be right on schedule. All right. This is the final product, and it is absolutely gorgeous and delicious. And I'm telling y'all one time, fresh caught red drum, smoked to perfection, just a little bit of lemon pepper, cayenne, and some minced fresh garlic with some fresh asparagus. And it is bomb ass diggity. I'm telling y'all, it don't get no better. It don't get no fresher. That is where it's at. Let me just peel into this bad boy real quick and show you the flaky goodness. Oh, roll that beautiful bean footage. When I say bon appetit, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Come on with it. The Dinner of Champions. I know this wasn't the best film video. It's not no cinematic masterpiece. But watch out. This is what I'm talking about right here. Oh, I can't help but after a hard day's work. I've been looking forward to this all day. And I'm going to tell you one time. It is on point. Totally worth the wait. Flaky goodness. Do it yourself, it's easy. Don't worry about them bones, they're big. I should have flipped it over and showed you what I was talking about, but those rib bones are on the back side. They're big, they're easy to find. Flip it over, take your fork, literally lift out them rib bones, and then there's no more bones in this. Period. Throw them to the side, use it as a toothpick, whatever. Whatever you want to do. And if you're that type of person, take a little bit of lemon, maybe a little bit of lime, lemon preferably. You put a little lemon juice on that, and I mean a little. Don't drown it in lemon juice. Don't let it float away.